Antiquated as adjective, belonging to an earlier time or period, ancient or old-fashioned, no longer in use or relevant, outdated or obsolete. The antiquated computer system was slow and inefficient, causing delays and errors in processing data. His antiquated views on gender roles were out of step with modern society and often caused offense. The building's antiquated heating and cooling system was expensive to maintain and unreliable in extreme weather conditions. The company's antiquated management practices were seen as a barrier to innovation and growth, and many employees left for more dynamic firms. The school's antiquated curriculum failed to prepare students for the challenges of the modern workplace, and many graduates struggled to find employment. Banal as adjective. It can also imply that something is trite or lacking in uniqueness. It can also refer to ideas or phrases that are overused or cliched. The movie's plot was predictable and banal, with no real surprises or twists. The writer's prose was criticized as being banal and lacking in originality. His ideas for the project were banal and uncreative, lacking any real innovation. The art exhibit was disappointing, featuring mostly banal and uninspired works. The music was banal and unmemorable, failing to leave a lasting impression on the audience. Anomalous as adjective. Abnormal or irregular in shape, form, or function, deviating from what is standard, normal, or expected. The results of the experiment were anomalous, deviating from the expected outcomes and raising questions about the methodology or data. The behavior of the suspect was anomalous, with no apparent motive or pattern that could explain the crime. The fossil was anomalous, representing a species that had never been found before and challenging existing theories of evolution. The stock price movement was anomalous, with sudden and unpredictable fluctuations that could not be explained by market trends or news. The weather was anomalous for the season, with unseasonably warm temperatures and little precipitation. Incessant as adjective. Continuously occurring without interruption. Unceasing or unrelenting in frequency or intensity. The incessant barking of the neighbor's dog kept me up all night. The incessant rain made it difficult to get any outdoor activities done. Her incessant complaints were getting on my nerves. The incessant honking of car horns in the city was overwhelming. The incessant ringing of the phone was distracting. Eccentric as adjective. Deviating from the norm or common behavior or manner. Unusual, unconventional, or quirky in behavior or appearance. The artist's eccentric style made his paintings stand out from the rest. The CEO was known for his eccentric behavior, such as wearing mismatched socks to important meetings. The old mansion had an eccentric design, with secret passageways and hidden rooms. The professor's eccentric teaching methods were loved by some students but disliked by others. The eccentric billionaire spent his money on unusual hobbies like collecting vintage cars and building giant robots. Irrevocable as adjective. Final and unalterable, binding. Unable to be changed, altered, revoked, or reversed. Signing the contract was an irrevocable decision. The court's decision was irrevocable and could not be appealed. His resignation was irrevocable. The damage caused by the storm was irrevocable. The decision to terminate the project was irrevocable. Intrepid as adjective. Adventurous and bold, showing a willingness to undertake new and challenging experiences. Fearless and brave, especially in the face of danger or difficulty. The intrepid explorer traversed the treacherous terrain of the mountain range. The intrepid journalist went undercover to expose corruption in the government. The intrepid soldier charged ahead despite the barrage of enemy fire. The intrepid entrepreneur started her own business in a risky industry. The intrepid hiker braved the elements and reached the summit of the mountain. Provident as adjective, acting with foresight and preparation for future needs or emergencies. Wisely planning for the future and making provisions for one's needs. Her provident savings allowed her to retire early. The businessman's provident investments ensured his financial stability. He always takes a provident approach to spending, saving for the future. The provident policies of the government help to secure the financial future of its citizens. The company's provident fund provides retirement benefits for its employees.
Appurtenant as adjective, associated with or necessary for the use or enjoyment of another property, belonging or pertaining as a necessary adjunct or concomitant. The appurtenant garage came with the purchase of the house. The easement was appurtenant to the neighboring property and allowed for access to the driveway. The landlord provided appurtenant storage space for the tenant's use. The appurtenant rights to the land included access to the river for fishing. The swimming pool was an appurtenant feature of the hotel.
Tender as adjective, showing gentleness or kindness, caring or sympathetic, soft or delicate in texture, often with a pleasing or gentle quality. The newborn baby had soft and tender skin. The tender flowers were delicate and easily damaged. The tender moment between the couple was captured on camera. The steak was cooked to a perfect tender texture. The tender care of the nurse helped the patient recover. Inviolable is adjective, sacred and not to be violated or infringed, secure from violation or profanation, inviolate. The athlete's privacy should be considered inviolable, even in the midst of intense media scrutiny. The right to a fair trial is an inviolable principle in democratic societies. In many cultures, the bond between a mother and child is considered inviolable and must never be broken. The museum staff take great care to ensure the inviolable preservation of priceless works of art. Some religious traditions believe that certain holy texts are inviolable and must never be altered or questioned.
Inarticulate as adjective, inability to express oneself effectively in speech or writing, lacking fluency or coherence in speech or expression. The student was inarticulate and struggled to express their ideas. The politician's speech was inarticulate and lacked clarity. The actor's performance was inarticulate and failed to convey the intended emotion. The writer's prose was inarticulate and difficult to follow. The musician's lyrics were inarticulate and lacked coherence.
Discreet as adjective, characterized by being prudent, cautious, and reserved in behavior and speech, not showy, flashy, or attention-seeking. The private investigator was very discreet in his inquiries, never revealing his true identity to anyone. She made sure to dress in a discreet manner for the funeral, opting for simple black clothing and minimal jewelry. The company's management took a discreet approach to the layoffs, informing employees individually rather than making a public announcement. The hotel staff was trained to be discreet when dealing with guests' personal information, ensuring that it was never shared with anyone who didn't have a legitimate need to know. The artist signed her work with a discreet signature in the corner, so as not to detract from the beauty of the piece itself. Arduous as adjective, involving much hard work, effort, or difficulty, requiring a lot of physical or mental effort to accomplish. The arduous climb to the summit of the mountain required months of training and preparation. The arduous task of rebuilding the city after the disaster was going to take years to complete. The arduous journey through the desert tested the traveler's endurance and resilience. The arduous process of getting a PhD required years of hard work and dedication. The arduous job of caring for a sick parent was taking a toll on her physical and emotional well-being. Sordid as adjective, dirty, filthy, or unclean, especially in a physical sense. Morally degraded or depraved, characterized by corruption or vice. The sordid details of the scandal were revealed in the news. He was involved in a sordid affair with a married woman. The living conditions in the tenement were sordid and unsafe. The sordid history of the organization was exposed by investigative reporters. The sordid reality of the drug trade was portrayed in the movie. Cryptic as adjective, having a hidden or secret meaning, often intentionally obscure or puzzling, obscure or difficult to understand. The artist's paintings were often cryptic, leaving viewers to interpret their meaning for themselves. The message was written in a cryptic code that only a few people could decipher. The CEO's cryptic statement at the press conference left investors wondering about the company's future plans. The crossword puzzle was full of cryptic clues that required a sharp mind to solve. The spy's cryptic message to headquarters contained coded instructions for the next mission. Fledgling as adjective, relating to or characteristic of a beginner, a novice, or something that is just starting or developing. The company's fledgling efforts in the market showed promise but lacked experience. Her fledgling career in photography was off to a promising start. The fledgling artist exhibited raw talent but needed more practice. The team consisted of fledgling athletes eager to prove themselves. The publication aimed to support fledgling writers looking for exposure.
Mawkish as adjective, often to the point of being cloying or sickly, something that is sentimental in an exaggerated or false way. The greeting card's mawkish message of love and devotion made the recipient cringe with embarrassment. The author's attempt to create a heartwarming ending to the story resulted in a mawkish and predictable conclusion. The singer's mawkish rendition of the national anthem drew ridicule and criticism from the crowd. The art exhibit's mawkish paintings of kittens and puppies failed to impress the art critics. The movie was criticized for its mawkish sentimentality, which many viewers found overly manipulative and insincere.
Incumbent as adjective, currently holding a particular office or position, required as a duty or obligation. The incumbent president was defeated in the recent election. The incumbent CEO announced his retirement after 20 years with the company. The incumbent board members were re-elected by a wide margin. The incumbent coach was fired after a losing season. The incumbent party held a majority in parliament. Flippant as adjective, casual and disrespectful in manner or speech, especially when treating serious issues with humor or lack of concern. Lighthearted and not taking things seriously, carefree. The doctor's flippant attitude towards his patients was a cause for concern. She made a flippant remark about the seriousness of the situation, causing offense. His flippant comments during the meeting undermined his authority. The flippant tone of the email was inappropriate for a professional setting. His flippant disregard for the safety rules put his co-workers at risk. Ready to boost your English? Meet our vocabulary app, the fun and effective way to master the language. Books learn advanced words with examples and audio. Direct hit master idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs. Video game enjoy quizzes, flashcards, and pronunciation tests. Glow showing Europe Africa translate into 100+ languages, all in one app. Did you learn new words? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Download now and start your journey to vocabulary mastery.